Hi, everybody. It is 11/24/2024. It is the 24th. Okay. Hello. I hope you're all well. Yeah. What are we living? Tony Punch. Hey. Well, thank you for your support, Tony. And thank you for your efforts and your work on Rumble. Much appreciated as well. Analog, hello. Geofactor 3, Shauna Howard, hello. Alicia DeMoss, Andrew Cruz, step down. Oh, 8 years. To the day? Wow. Well, thank you for your support. Step down. BMCC L24 2024. Thank you. Much appreciated. James B. Silent Walk. Barb in Ohio. And Patricia White, Julie, Mark Anthony, hey, Trent Rob. Haven't seen you in a while, Trent. Hope you're doing well. Radar, shall we? Let's just get right to it. All right. Well, the weather terrorists have taken a wee bit of a break, but not the frequency terrorists. As you can see, this frequency literally just started. They turned it on coming out of Nevada into Idaho, into California. California, a little bit more precipitation for you. Atmospheric river is done, so you're now just getting rain. And Washington as well, and a wee bit in Oregon. But there are no severe weather alerts, so that's a good thing. But wow, we do have weather, and let's check it out. So, atmospheric river did quite a lot of damage in Northern California.
Atmospheric river that hit the San Francisco Bay Area has turned deadly. Officials in Sonoma County say 2 people died as a result of the storm and flooding. One was found.
Notice the sky? Okay, why aren't more people noticing it?
In a submerged car. Tom Vakar has more from one of the hardest hit areas along the Russian River.
Parts of Sonoma County were hit by as much as 15 inches of rain, with Occidental getting more than 20 inches. Much of the runoff will make its way down to the Russian River from its massive 1,500 square mile drainage area. Guerneville passed the minor flooding level at 6 p.m. Friday and crested at moderate flood level at 6 a.m. Saturday. However, Russian River flooding, as well as a lot of possible local flooding throughout the North Bay, remained a threat throughout most of the day. The water level at Johnson's Beach was so high, other streams and tributaries backed up, flooding areas that only flood when large rainfalls are experienced.
It continues to go for maybe a week after the storm stops. So eventually it's all got to go into the river. If the river backs up, this will back up. And
just off Neely Road, water came up so quickly that many folks were caught completely off guard.
And I woke up and the water was up to my trailer. I had it hooked up, got it out, came back from my car, had to walk through 3 feet of water, and I got it out just in time.
However, a number of cars, pickups, and recreational vehicles were inundated. Along Drake Road, Pee Wee Golf and Arcade was also flooded, with neighbors helping the owners move equipment to higher ground.
Though the folks who live here on Neely are very used to this, sometimes several times a year, the real problem is afterwards picking up all the debris, because there is debris everywhere.
Good Samaritan Liam O'Brayton is a busy craftsman known as the Russian River Handyman on Nextdoor and Facebook.
Whenever it floods, I come down, I do sandbag stuff. I'll pick up trash for like months after it's done.
At his own expense, O'Brayton says he provided bottled water for folks to pick up at the Bank of America. He towed some kayaks out, towed many vehicles out as he could before the water overwhelmed them, and he even delivered water to a man stranded in his RV.
Well, it's significant in perspective. For some people, it's like terrible. Like these guys, they don't have anywhere to go now, right?
With the soil now so saturated, tree falls and mudslides loom as major threats all over the North Bay.
This holiday season,
Great.
give the gift of sport.
More flooding coming your way. So this happens several times a year for people. They're that used to it. They don't care that their businesses get flooded out. They don't care that their homes get flooded, their cars. That seems a little strange to me, but I do want to respond to Barb in Ohio, who asked, where is Sandra? Sandra Gil Pilar? I would like to know too, Sandra. Barb in Ohio. So if anybody has any idea, or anybody talks to Sandra, or could you let us know? Because that's true. I've not seen her in about a week, I'm guessing. Jibby Jab, hi. Joni, Hypocrites Matrix, Jay Northrup, hi. Marlo. All right. Yeah, when people take a break, or, let us know, because when people disappear, there are people who worry about them. So, okay, let's get back to the weather, shall we? Storm Bert in the UK. Lots of flooding. Sorry, you guys affected in the UK.
Overseas now, and Storm Bert has caused severe flooding in parts of the UK. A body has been found in South Wales after a man was swept away by waters.
The water flooded in faster than they could bail it out. Residents in the valley town of Pontypridd rallied together as emergency services responded to the devastation of Storm Bert. Many angry at what they feel was a lack of preparation.
Put a flood defence in instead of a Harry Potter fence. Do your job, what we pay them money for.
As you can see, National Resources Wales have just replaced the railings back again. It doesn't do anything. As soon as it goes, it comes in through there again.
8 o'clock this morning, I was told to move my car. And I moved my car safely. But 8 o'clock this morning, but it was already coming in.
The council here declared a major incident on Sunday. Extra resource was deployed and rest centres set up nearby. A lot of people have only just repaired their homes after the last big flood in 2020. Now they're back to square one, but it's not just houses that have been ruined. Businesses have been destroyed here as well. For garage owner Gareth, his whole business has been lost overnight.
Our drum's obviously gone over and the oil's spilt everywhere.
Everything's coated in oil. Many of his customers' cars now write-offs.
But I'm gutted. Obviously, it's how long is it going to take to sort it out? I mean, and I'm going to lose money either way, and I mean, and the time to take all it, I can't work on people's cars when I'm trying to sort all this out. It's devastating.
It's not just Pontypridd affected. In North Wales, a body was found by police officers searching for a 75-year-old man who'd been walking his dog near the River Conwy. Across South Wales, flooding caused landslides and swept cars away.
The latest estimate we're working on is between 200 to 300 properties, mixture of residential and some commercial, but mainly residential. Teams out now trying to establish if they've had internal flooding. Certainly a number of properties have had internal flooding, mainly from river flooding, but also in some cases it's culvert have overflowed. So there's a lot of teams out. They've been out all day today. Our housing teams are also engaging with people, and tomorrow there will be a big recovery operation starting.
Ross.
Oh man, it doesn't stop. Wales.
Right now, it's 8:35.
Flood alert came in at 10 to 8, I believe it was, which is after the river had already broken its banks. As you can see, there's water in the front garden, and you can see that the gates are still holding. So the water in the front garden is coming from underneath the walls, same as it did in 2020. NRW, please pay attention. It is coming underneath the walls, as we stated in 2020. Hopefully this time you'll believe us. As you can see outside, we are probably maybe half.
What did she say? It's coming from underneath the walls?
Please pay attention. It is coming underneath the walls, as we stated in 2020. Hopefully this time you'll believe us. As you can see outside, we are probably maybe half a metre out in the front at the moment. There is water out the back, but I can't get there to show you. And again, it's going to start coming through further up as well.
I think the first broadcast was not Britain, but was it Wales? Is anybody from the UK here? I think. Yeah, crimes against humanity, major crimes against humanity. It just doesn't stop.
Flooding issue 2009, and it hasn't flooded since 2020, but this is the second major flood that we've had since we purchased this. And then we've had kind of one, I suppose this is Rebecca, we've had one kind of, it's probably smaller flood, but Rebecca is running a successful business. It's very hard for Rebecca to run her business when she's the whole time like frightened with the rain that we're going to be flooded.
So yeah, most like in here now, most of the water has disappeared, been drained away. The firemen have been at the pumps for the last, I'd say 5 hours. So the water had come up to here throughout the whole building. And as I said earlier, it's on different levels. So it was up to about here. So it's about 2 inches, maybe 3 inches in places. So we've been here about 2 years, well, actually just over 2 years. And as you can see, the water has come in through the walls. It used to be a pub, so the floor's good, but unfortunately it seeps through.
Now, considering some flooding that others have experienced, should we just say, hey, be grateful that it wasn't any worse? No, because everybody has their own experience with these consequences, and they're painful. They, a whole lot of people lose a whole lot of money, have to put out an awful lot of money to, repair. But yeah, it's Trinidad.
Severe thunderstorm activity dumped heavy rains on parts of West and North Trinidad yesterday afternoon, resulting in severe flash flooding. Flash flooding occurred in Barataria, San Juan, as well as the western main road in Corinage and Glencoe, Maryville, and Diego Martin. The North Coast Road was obstructed by a landslide. According to the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, flooding was reported in Petit Valley, near Street Lucian Road, Western Main Road near Shorelands, Cocorite, Diamondvale, La Siva and Maryville, and Morne Coco Road. The Diego Martin River near the West Moorings Bridge Angeles, the roof of an unfinished building is seen flying through the air like paper in the wind. As is typical during rain, flooding also affected Lower Port of Spain, including Lower Richmond Street, Citygate, and South Quay. To assist residents as needed, ODPM and the Ministry of Works and Transport visited the first location, cleared debris, and removed one of the fallen trees. Looking at a worldwide phenomenon of changes in weather patterns, this did not trigger an alert level, and this wasn't a yellow level warning for the whole island. Met Office is very much on the ball with its alerts and positions, but we in these positions have to make sure that we measure the communication because you can't cause panic or distress unnecessarily.
Because the adult kitties can't handle it. Not quite understanding your comments, Rex. Crimes against smart people and don't be grateful. Mayday, Mayday, people, Mayday, Mayday, people. Yeah, it is Mayday. It's been Mayday for a long time. Awful lot are screaming Mayday. Now, there's a lot of comfortable people who may not hear them or may not care. Philippines. Blaze tears through hundreds of homes in Manila.
Sunday, fire engulfed the slum community in Manila's Tondo district. When it was over, 1,000 homes were reduced to debris. Hours later, smoke was still visible on the horizon, a painful reminder for those spending the night on the street outside the neighborhood.
We didn't think the fire would reach us because the wind was blowing the other way, but it changed direction and now all the houses here are gone.
Roella Arubang had to get her bedridden mother to safety during the chaos, and she just feels happy they're alive.
We really prioritized my mother because our lives are more important than anything else.
But some people still went in and out of the scene of the fire, hoping to salvage what they can.
The fire has been declared extinguished, but for some 2,000 families who lost their homes, their suffering isn't over.
No, and it won't be over for a long time. All right. Now, I didn't realize that the snowfalls were this great, but California, Northern California, Chicago.
Record rain and heavy snowfall were recorded on Thursday in Northern California, USA.
Slippery
that we need to protect nature, because this is the main problem of humanity. The more likes, the more people will know it.
Wow.
A winter storm continues to batter the Western Pacific. The storm left hundreds of thousands of people without electricity. In the Midwest, Chicago will see its first snowfall of 2024.
Chicago. I didn't even know Chicago got hit this hard.
While the National Weather Service has issued winter weather warnings for more than a dozen states to tomorrow.
Oh, wow. All right. So 20,000 egg-laying hens killed in a fire.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jeff Herndon.
And I'm Julia Thatcher. We are getting an idea of how an explosion at an egg-laying facility in Harvey County will impact prices.
The firefighters say a propane explosion leveled a barn that housed 20,000 hens Thursday. KSN's Derek Lytle spoke to a poultry expert who says the price of eggs locally will go up. Derek.
Yeah, Jeff, Julia, that's right. Scott Beyer with K-State says this was a fairly new free-range egg operation, and he says the farmer will now go through hardship of starting from scratch, while those prices on eggs at grocery stores will increase in a market already impacted by the avian flu. A propane explosion killing 20,000 egg-laying hens in Newton.
It's like a punch in the gut when you see something like that.
Scott Beyer is a poultry specialist with K-State. Around chickens his entire life, and he says the egg market in the U.S. is already weathered by bird loss from avian flu. He says 20,000 hens is a big non-commercial operation, and losing have negative impacts.
It will certainly hurt some local prices. The old saying is we maintain about one hen for every person in the United States. And so
It seems that we care more about getting the eggs to people so that they can eat the price of eggs than we do the hens that have been killed in this fire. Huh. Well, now, I wanted to post this on Never Lose Truth, but I can't seem to get her GoFundMe page. I'm hoping that someone answered. Let's see. All right. But the woman does mention the GoFundMe. Okay, so I want, yeah, I'm going to play this. And this is true, not just for Western North Carolina. It's true for Tennessee. It's true for an awful lot of people in Florida. It's true for people in South Carolina and Georgia and New Mexico and now California and, well, keeping it in our country. It's true for people who are still in hotels because FEMA just didn't live up to its obligation, responsibility, living in hotels for 6 years after Hurricane, was it Matthew, Irma? Can't remember, but currently there are a lot of people who are still in tents, and it's getting very cold in the mountains.
All day giving out clothes to the people that need it, bedding.
She says in the very beginning, all day giving out clothes and bedding to people who need it.
All day giving out clothes to the people that need it, bedding and stuff like that. The stories out here is real. We have been told stories. We now are being told by the people themselves. They're thinking about committing suicide. They're getting no help from FEMA whatsoever. They are working jobs and their business has gone under because of the flood, so they're no longer working at Papa John's and Ingles and stuff. They're being denied their unemployment, and they said the best solution for them is to kill, and that's where we're at right now. It's easier to commit suicide and continue on.
All right, so I guess people are, and I've seen this in several videos now, where they don't want to say that word, people taking their own lives. And so they, I guess, smush together the audio. I honestly don't know why we have to protect people from ever hearing that word, but yeah, it's a country filled with adult children.
Living in their car. There's not enough campers down here. There's no land to put them on, and people are giving up hope. And we are desperately needing help down here. I have given everything that I can. I cannot continue this fight alone. I come in and it was 33 degrees and I was watching people go do their laundry with no coat. So I took my coat off and gave it to a lady because I knew I had another one. But now we're going to lose people because no one's here to help. And then when they promise them to come help them, fix their house, muck out their house, nobody shows up. It's just false promises. They are losing all hope down here. And it's the people that is letting them down. and it is not right. Actually, the camera girl is sitting here crying, and I hope she keeps the camera on me because she's sitting here having listened to the stories that is going on. We need help. I'm going to put my GoFundMe page out again, or you can get a hold of an organization. I don't care. We need help down here. People can get a hold.
Yeah, they definitely need help. All right, so I am going to post. This is Sean's Give, Send, Go page, and from what I have heard in the past, people really need, I think, to, instead of GoFundMe, do a Give, Send, Go. Operation Shelter. In the wake of Helene, FEMA has failed, as we know. But having watched many of the videos, Sean is in there. He's there. He's been working hard for weeks and weeks, trying very hard to help people. He did say that somebody is going to get a trailer, and that was after, excuse me, that was after, here, Sean Hendricks. I have her contact information. Okay, we need a camper, and Sean is bringing a camper, but an awful lot of other people do need help. So even if you can give $5, please help people, okay? 'Tis the season to kind of manifest Christ in your heart, in your mind, in your being as you walk. Yeah. Help those in need. So this is Sean.
So we got the trailer from Raleigh. We're actually headed out. We actually got Samson up in front of us right now. We're going to head up to Green Mountain afterwards and deliver a bunch of generators for a supply area that needs them. And but first step is get this family into this camper, and we'll go from there. What did FEMA say about temporary housing? Do they offer like an RV or anything?
They did, but then they came back a week later and said, "Oh, you're in a flood zone."
No joke, you're in a flood zone. What's the point of disaster?
What was the first hit?
Yeah. What's the point of disaster relief if they can't help people who are in disaster zones? I always say California's an earthquake zone.
Yeah.
So do we not help anyone in California?
Yeah. So they're.
All right. So this house is basically completely underwater. What was the company called, or a charity?
8 Days of Hope.
8 Days of Hope. And this is what you have left after your house has been flooded. Look at the work that 8 Days of Hope did. I mean, they got this thing clean.
Wow.
To the county flood guy, Cole, he said it was going to be 4.5 feet, which meant 5.5 feet on top of ground level.
So this house is going to be raised 5.5 feet up
From the ground level.
from the ground level.
If that's the.
And how high is it now? Maybe 3 feet? So the whole thing has to come up 2.5 feet?
So the basement flooded plus to here. So there's the water line.
Oh, there's the water line. So what that means is that this house is 2 foot off the ground. Needs to go from here to basically center line of that door to be high enough to beat the FEMA regulations. They're talking like they just want to sell. They're kind of done. They got flooded in the 2021 flood, and now this, they're kind of over it. It means every house in this area needs to go up 2.5, 3 feet. I don't know how you do that. Is that even possible? I mean, I guess Elon can catch a rocket with chopsticks. We probably have the technology to do this. How did you get the water out of the basement?
So a company came by the day after, no, it was the Tuesday after the storm.
Okay.
And they charged my neighbors $1,800 to suck out their basement. No insurance, cash only. So I was like, that's kind of shady.
Yeah.
So then the next day, my neighbor texted me at work and said, hey, somebody's here looking to suck out a basement. Let them in your house. So
They did it for free?
For free, yeah.
Oh, wow. So somebody came in right after the storm and was charging people.
Yeah.
Oh, that is terrible.
Yeah. You can see the water line here.
Yeah.
So all of this is in mud. And like all of this was just covered. You can see how thick the mud was.
Oh, so this is still mud.
Yeah, that's still from
The flooding.
Yeah.
But that's what the people are dealing with here. This is 6 weeks after the storm, and their house is still gutted. But we've got them an RV while they rebuild. We got them an RV while they rebuild, and we're going to keep helping people one family at a time.
Okay, so I'm going to post this link. This is Sean Hendricks's site, Operation Shelter. Donate, all the ways in which you can donate here. And again, I'll say, if you have extra clothes, winter clothes, if you can purchase some warm socks, gloves, hats, that is in need. And there are so many organizations. I should compile what I think are legit people who are helping people out, and then just do a video on that. It's cold up there in the hills. And, I was listening to this. I only got, I got a little further than the 12 minutes. I listened to about half of just, if you want to know how many people, and this is just one particular area, this man, this pastor, talking about what he and his neighbors and community have been doing, but how people have been affected. It was pretty, listening to all of these, individual stories. You have to wonder, there are a lot of people who are giving up. There are a lot of people who are saying, I can't mitigate, like FEMA wants me to raise the homes. I can't afford it. So I'm going to sell pennies on a dollar to FEMA. That's happening a lot. But think about what would happen to you. What do you think you'd be feeling and doing if you lost everything? Everything. Your house, cars, job, brought literally to zip. Nothing. Insurance isn't helping. FEMA's not helping. Wouldn't you want an awful lot of people in the country helping? Yeah, you would. It's really very sad. And the animal shelters, more and more do I see these new shows on. So many animal shelters are in great need because they're overcrowded. People are dropping off their animals. And see, when you have problems, you got to nip them in the bud. You can't just let it go and go and go because everything gets out of hand.
Also new tonight at 5:30, Marion County animal shelter staff are, quote, begging for help because more animals are coming into the shelter than are being adopted or rescued.
News 13 Skylar Music joins us now live in the studio with more on the shelter's plight and how you can help make a difference. Skylar?
Trish Annette, the director of the animal shelter, said she gets to work as early as 6 in the morning and leaves after 5. Only 4 other staff members help her with vet appointments, medications, food, and cleaning for hundreds of animals.
Yes, in the back of our heads, we all know what a dog needs, what a cat needs, but until you're actually here and doing it in qualities of 50 cats in one room, 100 dogs in one area, you don't realize how much work is going into a shelter.
Director Corsi urges people to volunteer at their local animal shelters by taking a few dogs on a walk for an hour, or foster an animal. If you foster a dog for 2 weeks, Marion County Animal Shelter will give you food and supplies for free. She also asks people to help out on social media by sharing posts about missing animals the shelter has found or the shelter's adoption specials. You can even host an animal food drive. A little bit of food donated to a shelter goes a long way.
It's going to help a ton, and it's going to help offset our costs. And that way, that money we were going to spend on food this week, we can put that into heartworm treatment for a dog who needs it. Or we can book an extra spay appointment because we have the money now to do that appointment.
Marion County Animal Shelter is taking in more animals than are being adopted, and many adopted animals are being returned to the shelter for personal reasons. Usually, the shelter only euthanizes animals that have been in the shelter for many years, have serious medical issues, or serious behavioral issues. Corsi said euthanization is heartbreaking for community members and the shelter staff, who take care of these animals for months, if not years. But it may happen if aren't adopted in the next few weeks. This is why adoptions, like Mel's, are so important.
The dog was my absolute best friend. Absolute best friend. I love the dog more than anything. After about 8 months of him being here, we found an elderly man that said, I want a shop dog. Mel now lives in this shop and spends his days watching football with his dad. I never thought he would have made it there. He was one dog that I didn't think was going to make it out of here.
The director said the animal shelter will have 2 new kennel buildings by the start of 2025. She hopes more space and more adoptions will make the shelter a more humane place for these animals.
That's why I say at the end, remember the animal shelters. To pick up the food, drop it off. Yeah, maybe you can volunteer a couple of hours. Virtually every animal shelter all over the country is overcrowded and in desperate need of help. Okay. And what is this? Chicago woman. All right. The reason why I'm showing you this is I think everybody should go down wherever your deeds are to your home, to the property that you own. You go down and you get the town clerk to put a note on your deed that if anybody comes in and wants to claim the deed as theirs, that they have to call you. That's happening a lot. But with this woman, it was property taxes, and you just go and, whatever you have to do, make sure that your town or city is has your documents and everything is up to date. And if there's an error and you think that everything is kosher, you call them to make sure. You get them to send you in writing that whatever the problem was, it has been rectified, because what this woman is experiencing, there have been many who've experienced the same thing.
Only on CBS News Chicago now, a Morgan Park woman says she paid her property taxes on time for more than a decade, only to be told her home had been sold out from under her. A paperwork issue appears to be the cause of the nightmare after she says no one at the county would help. Our Megan Hickey is listening to this desperate homeowner and getting answers about a puzzling case.
2019. First installment.
Robin McElroy says she loves everything about her Morgan Park home, except for the panic-inducing surprises she's been getting in the mail.
None of them are late. Proof of payment right here.
About her supposedly unpaid taxes.
I just started receiving letters just from different tax buyers. This one actually has a receipt on it.
McElroy showed us the receipts from her property tax payments she's been making on time since she bought the house in 2012.
I do not like wasting money. I do not pay that stupid tax. I pay my bills.
She went to the assessor's office and then the treasurer's office years ago to try to clear this up. This April 2019 letter from the treasurer's office explained that the PIN assignment on the assessor's website had been swapped with her next door neighbors.
And so forth and so on.
But she'd been paying her taxes correctly.
With the original receipts attached.
And there were no grounds to proceed with a sale. Relieved, she thought this issue was fixed.
They actually told me, don't worry about it.
Fast forward 5 years to this year.
I'm about to cry now.
McElroy got this terrifying letter from the Cook County Circuit Court.
This notice to advise you that the above property has been sold,
saying her house had been sold for delinquent taxes. On top of that, McElroy was later told she owed 3 years of rent to the owner who bought it.
This lady should not have to go to court. This lady should not have to be put in this position to go through all of this headache and heartache. This is stressful.
Here's what we've figured out. This 2019 letter flags an error in the assessor's website and the need for an internal correction. But it appears that fix never took place.
Keep in mind that this is somebody's property that they paid for, that they're living in.
After we reached out, the assessor's office acknowledged that they've now made that correction. A spokesperson declined our request for an on-camera interview, but as of this afternoon, said they were working with their legal team to resolve it, and the taxes on her PIN have been paid. McElroy said she won't believe it until she sees it in writing.
You guys can point fingers all day long. I don't care. I want what's rightfully owed to me.
And in the meantime, McElroy says she's had to pay out of her pocket for a lawyer to help her sort out this mess. The current court records give her until next week to file a response. So, Joe, she is really hoping all of this can get cleared up before then.
Somebody else makes the error, government, right? And then you have to go through all of the stress and all of the time and effort and expense to clear up their mistake. So, when you consider everything that is going on in our country, you've got millions upon millions upon millions of people who are stressed to the max. So, just want to show you some a petition, UK government and Parliament. And it says here, Parliament considers all petitions that get more than 100,000 signatures for a debate. Government will respond to all petitions that get more than 10,000 signatures. So if they get more than 100,000 signatures, Parliament will have a debate. What time was it? I don't know. But sometime in the morning, I clicked on this and it was over 800,000, over 800,000 signatures. And I thought, oh, good. Went back. In less than 12 hours, nearly 1 million signatures. Will they have a debate on a general election? I would like there to be another general election. I believe the current Labor government have gone back on the promises they laid out in the lead up to the last election. Let's see. Yeah. Get rid of Keir Starmer. I hope it works for you guys. So this was 3 hours ago. I posted on Twitter and they had 1,642,000, 3 hours. In 3 hours, they have more, about 130 some odd signatures, 130,000. So the signatures are really piling in with this petition. I'll throw it in the link if anybody is watching from the UK, you don't know about this petition, there's the link. And I'm sure if anybody is for sure my subscriber, but if anybody happens upon this video, you happened upon it for a reason. If you're in the UK, I'm saying. So yeah. unidentified flying objects captured in the UK. And this was July 31, 2023. Oh, flying object. All right, I didn't see I didn't read carefully this. I just thought, oh my God, they're seeing so many drones or unidentified flying objects all over the world. Are they preparing us for this fabulous alien invasion? Well, mysterious drone swarms detected over UK air bases hosting United States stealth jets. Mysterious drones. Who might that be? Oh, are you on the edge? Are you on the edge of your seat? A spokesperson for the United States Air Force in Europe said it is unclear if the drones were considered hostile. All right. And so much World War III talk. Sometimes you just can't stand it. Right. Prime Minister dances Canada. So Canada, Montreal, had, let's just say energetic riots. 2 nights ago or last night. Okay, so a lot of people are equating those people busting up windows and the smoke bombs and setting cars on fire with the protesters who were protesting for peace for the Palestinians. Don't people know that people infiltrate these protests and start acting like this to give a bad name to those who are peacefully protesting? Maybe not. But this was what Justin Trudeau was doing. At a Taylor Swift concert. Here he is, having a good old time. God, he's such a ugh. And the song was, "You Don't Know Me. You Don't Know Me." It looks like whoever this girl is it his daughter? Does he? I don't know much about Justin Trudeau, but it looks like she might have said, "Stop acting like such a jerk." Because he stops abruptly. So there's an awful lot who are very upset. Justin's having a good old time while this riot is breaking out. All right. Trudeau dances at Taylor Swift concert as rioters storm streets of Canada. Anti-NATO demonstrators set off smoke bombs and marched through the streets of Montreal with Palestinian flags, set cars on fire, clashed with police. Okay. You can't actually protest war anymore without an awful lot of people coming at you, claiming that you are just part of the terrorists, either the Russian terrorists or Hamas. So what Israel is doing is fine. I mean, what these, I really do think that this is like an Antifa kind of, group that infiltrate the protests. And yeah, no to NATO, no to war. Oh my God, these people are terrorists. And a whole lot of people leaving the comments on Twitter claiming that Justin Trudeau, he's having a good time, while all of these terrorists, they claim that these are the terrorists. Not NATO, not the United States, not Ukraine, not Israel. They're the terrorists. What a bizarre, just the inverted world we're living in. You call out acts of genocide, you call out atrocious, disgusting, psychopathic behaviors, and you are the one who's vilified on social media. Okay, is another species changing Earth? Inspired? It's 5 minutes long. I'm going to play it. I will post the link, and changes are absolutely taking place with our species. Social contract, pretty much, it's now pretty much obsolete. How everybody is treating one another, families, friends, behaving, with such, lying, gaslighting, scapegoating, hating one another, just, oh my God, you voted for Trump, you're not invited to Thanksgiving. Not that that happened to me. I'm just saying there's a lot of families that are, don't want to sit next to you, don't want you around. It's so, let's just say, for many decades of my life as an American, I did not see this behavior. It has gotten a lot worse. And I don't have any hope of, any kind of decency or respect coming back, because it just seems like we just have this kind of brazen attitude with one another where we just don't care. And I see it also as people not caring about their own life. Like they just don't give a shit what will happen. And I'm not talking about everyone, but I am talking about the majority. And yeah, it's the majority that sink us.
There is a concerted effort in social engineering to break the social bonds that have always kept humans together as families.
And broken they are. A whole lot. That's why it's so nice to see families that actually like one another and they're close to one another and they have real relationships with one another, that is actually what happens with this family here that I'm staying with. And well, the subscriber that I'm staying with, she's the mother. It's like, I wish every family had what they had. And it's so sad to see how many families don't.
They have broken the bonds, the social bonds between men and women. They have broken the social bonds between the rich and the poor, between the blacks and the whites, between the Christians and the Muslims. Now they're going after adults and children and all the gender conversations. This is breaking society. And when the society is broken, we become vulnerable. That's not good for us. Now there's a concerted effort to replace our biology with technology, with chemicals in the blood, artificial intelligence, computer chips in the brain, whatever the nano instruments are that are available. We're already using them in medical technology. They're already available. It's just a difference in application. When we replace our biology with technology, our natural systems begin to atrophy and we lose those systems. If you have a chemical giving you an immune response, your body will say, oh, you don't need me to do this any longer because the chemical is doing it. If you have a chemical producing hormones in your body will say, oh, you don't need me to produce those hormones anymore, so I'll simply stop. In one generation, next generation, the body says, oh, well, we don't do it that way anymore. That's a vestige of our past because we've got these new ways. This is how you lose a species. So when you put those together, John, what I have to say as a scientist, objectively, is that none of those things are good for us, we humans. So now you have to ask the question, who is it good for? Who would thrive on a planet with low CO2, colder temperatures, fewer people, no armaments, no technology to defend themselves, and vulnerable to technology for control? The answer to that question is the story of so many ancient and indigenous traditions of our relationship to life beyond this planet. Where we come from, who we emerged from. It's a whole conversation around that. I don't know how deep we want to get into that in this. It could be an entire conversation. The point that I want to make is that there's a concerted effort to make us and to make this world into something that's not good for us. And where this book really zeroes in is the part of us that once it's gone, we'll never get it back. And that is our humanness. Anything else, if we make a mistake, we've got decades, we can fix it, perhaps, unless it's nuclear war. But when it comes to our humanness, there is a concerted effort to denigrate and to replace our biology. And it's happening in ways, once again, through the marketing and things like that, that you'd never expect. I share two stories in the book. And I'm going to just share them briefly here, because some people may identify more with one than another. The alien abduction phenomenon. I had the honor and the privilege of knowing and touring in the conferences with John Mack before he died mysteriously in, I think it was 2004. And for those of you that don't know John Mack, he was a Harvard-trained professor. He was the head of Department of Psychiatry in Harvard University. And what put him on the map was he began to take alien abduction seriously. And he wanted to explore them and explain them scientifically, where in the past they'd been written off as mental health issues, schizophrenia, hallucinations. He did a worldwide survey and found that there were so many people that had such similar experiences. I mean, the explanations of the beings that they were talking to were so similar. He said, there must be something going on here. And one of the common themes was that when the abductees asked their abductors the question that anyone would ask, well, why me? You know, why have you taken me? What am I doing here? And what is the purpose of this? As different as the countries and the nationalities and from the 1960s all the way up into the early 2000s, the stories were the same. And what they said was that they are a form of life that once was at the crossroads where we are now, where they had to choose between biology and technology for their bodies. And they chose technology, they gave their biology away, and it was a mistake. And
okay, if you want to watch the full video, click on the link below. This whole alien thing, you know, I tend towards, yeah, well, another farce, another, you know, agenda that they may very well pull. But hey, there could be, I don't know, there might be real, like, aliens that have come to planet Earth. And yeah, I don't know. But considering the technology that they do have, they can make it look like there are aliens on Earth. But what is, you know, that social contract, you know, we allowed ourselves to get into this condition being socially engineered, and we've got to reverse the engineering, you know, if humanity means anything to you, right? But yeah, they talk about the gender, you know, thing going on, which frankly, it's, I'm so amazed that it continues and it continues and it continues. That means we don't have enough sane adults who are pushing back against this. How about a 16-year-old female?
Hello. I'm a student at Martin Luther King High School, and I run on the cross-country team. So I'm constantly affected by these actions that have taken place this season. And I have been around the females and just my team in general who have felt almost silenced to speak out about it because the whole LGBTQ is shoved down our throats, it is put in our face, and we live in a society where it is almost impossible to speak out on it without facing the repercussions of it. And I went myself to have a discussion with the head of the athletic director when nobody really felt comfortable enough to speak out. And I don't think it's fair, knowing Caitlin and knowing Taylor, to see their spots getting taken away, to see all these things being jeopardized for one person. It feels as though that my school and the school district is choosing to support one person instead of the whole team and the whole school as a total. Like, it's not fair. It's not okay. I try my best not to put personal beliefs into it, but seeing this first-handedly, seeing my teammates getting their spots taken for one person that's choosing to be a girl, it's not okay. I've done my research. I've looked into the CIF rules and I've looked into the NCAA rules, two completely different things. And when I went into this meeting with the athletic director, I knew that. I knew that going into it, that teachers and coaches and people in the office can't speak on personal opinion. And then to see the athletic director turn around and tell my teammates that their shirts that say "Save Girls Sports" be compared to a swastika, that is not okay. These girls feel silenced, they felt silenced, and when they finally spoke out and did something to go against it and speak out, not directed towards a single person at all, they were completely stabbed in the back by the person that we were told would support us and be able to help us through this. They were said that it was a hate crime, that they were targeting that one person, and that is not the case at all. Taylor and Caitlin are two of the most nice people I've ever met in my life, and to see them having to be told that there being hateful people is not okay. And it is not okay that I have to be in a position where I'm going to practice and having to see a male in booty shorts and having to see that around me as a 16-year-old girl. I don't find that as a safe environment. I don't at all. And going into a locker room and seeing males in there, I don't find that safe. I don't find going to the bathroom safe when there's guys in there. It's not okay. I'm a 16-year-old girl. There's girls around me where we do not feel safe having boys in our environment. And it isn't okay. It isn't okay to have them on our team. It isn't okay when it's the genetics.
So if anybody can't see that this is purposeful and it's driven from the top down, our Department of Education forcing, and what did she say about it's shoved down our throats? It's shoved down everybody's throats. And no one should be for, as opposed to against, before guys going into girls' locker rooms and bathrooms. Common sense, I guess, has gone out the window. I don't know. But this continues on, okay? All of the agendas, the election and Trump and all of that kind of, just sidelined everybody. And they were so enthralled, distracted still, because everything is Trump, Twitter, no, this continues. And all adults in our country need to stand up and fight against this. I can't believe that this has been going on for years. So Nancy Mace, representative from South Carolina, boy, has she really been attacked. She was the one who, there's this transgender representative who won the election coming into Congress, and she immediately wanted a rule, which was ruled by Speaker of the House Johnson, that yes, women's bathrooms are for women, men's bathrooms are for men. So now you have a transgender representative in Congress. What's going to happen? Well, she's with a penis. You can't go into the women's bathroom. Right. Absolutely. And the respect comes on both sides. Why is it that one or two transgender get to rule the day over everybody else?
Here she goes. Here's Congresswoman Mace. Congresswoman Mace, can I ask you a question as you walk here? So the question is, with your piece of legislation about banning women from using...
100% yes.
My question to you is...
And it doesn't go far enough. I'll be filing more bills.
You have said that it was created in response to Congresswoman-elect McBride.
100%. And
but should legislation be created targeted at one specific person?
It doesn't mention anyone in the legislation, but
you've said it was aimed at her.
No, I have said it's a result of this. I'm not going to allow biological men into women's private spaces. I will stand in the brink and stand in the way of anyone on the radical left who thinks that it's okay for a penis to be in a women's locker room or a bathroom or a changing room. Hell no. I am not going to stand for it. And the speaker said it would be in the House rules package. If it's not, I will be ready with a motion, a privileged motion to force a vote on this. This is not okay. I'm a survivor of rape. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. and I'm not going to allow any man in any female private spaces.
Now, Speaker,
end of story. And by the way, I'm getting death threats from men pretending to be women. Why is it that these crazy people, the insanity, the radical left, are willing to kill women over a man's right to be in a women's restroom?
Speaker Johnson has said he wants to treat every new member with the words dignity and respect. Forcing this congressperson to go into a male restroom, is that dignity and respect?
Is it dignity and respect to allow this one person to go into women's bathrooms? What about the women who don't feel comfortable with it? What about the respect for them? Which Nancy Mace also says, and a whole lot of other people say. Hello, so you have carved out a life for yourself as a transgender, which is quite different from a whole lot of lives. And that difference, you don't get to force upon everybody else. I'm sure that there's one bathroom in the halls of Congress where you can use that bathroom for yourself because you're special, right? So how about a special little bathroom for you? Democrats rally behind first out transgender member of Congress. Yeah, it's they come after Nancy Mace, claiming that she's a bully, hateful, disrespectful. No, I don't see it that way. And it's not that way. We have your back. We stand with you. Okay. This is Nancy Mace. I never thought we would need a sign for this. Good. Good. Trans Antifa member has just terrorized an event Nancy Mace was speaking at. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It is the day after Trans Day of Visibility. We have had dozens of trans people die this year because of the hate and lies that you are spreading. And if we want an internet, are we building an internet with free speech for everyone or just the privileged few? Are you going to stand up for the lives of trans people, black and brown people? Are we fighting for justice or are we fighting for big tech? I thought we were fighting for justice here.
A lot of responsibilities too, Rowan.
I'm sorry. We're living with that in real time right now. This is ridiculous. It is the day after Trans Day of Visibility. We have had dozens of trans people die this year because of the hate and lies that you are spreading. And if we want an internet, are we building an internet with free speech for everyone or just the privileged few? Are you going to stand up for the lives of trans people, black and brown people? Are we fighting for justice or are we fighting for big tech?
We respect freedom of speech.
God loves him. I love
That's
him,
right.
but his penis isn't going to be in my bathroom. So
God loves him. I love him. But his penis is not going to be in my bathroom. Katie Couric, man. Wow. What are all of these people saying this kind of stuff because they've been given money to promote the agenda? Or I don't get it. I really don't.
Hey everyone, I'm just so disappointed that this Nancy Mace, a Republican from South Carolina, is being so rude. And
it's rude. It's rude to want to feel safe when you go to the bathroom. That's rude. Holy shit.
I don't know, just bigoted. against Sarah McBride, who is a new congressperson from the state of Delaware. I know Sarah. She is the first openly transgender member of Congress, and she's an extraordinary human being. Has done a great job representing the people of Delaware and is now going to be doing it in Washington. And it just seems nasty and mean and cruel because she is the only member who is now forbidden to use the ladies' room. And it's just shitty, you know? Anyway.
Because she's biologically a man, okay? Just because she wants to claim herself as a woman, then any man can do that and get into women's bathrooms. And really, they're not very nice men. But talk about a social contract, talk about, everything that we have been doing for a really long time in the human race is now being changed for a few select people, and a whole lot of those women are just not comfortable with it, and it shouldn't be happening at all. Anyway, you just wanted to say that it's cruel, Katie? Think about how you would feel if you were in a bathroom and all of a sudden what comes through the door is something that looks quite like a man. I'd feel uncomfortable. AOC. Oh, yeah.
It's disgusting. And everybody, no matter how you feel on this issue, should reject it completely. What are they doing? They're doing this so that Nancy Mace can make a buck and send a text and fundraise off an email. They're not doing this to protect people. They're endangering women. They're endangering girls of all kinds. And everybody should reject it. It's gross. Thank you.
Thank you.
So apparently Nancy Mace is doing this, because what?
Mace can make a buck and send a text and
Make a buck? Okay. And what Nancy Mace is doing is endangering all women, according to AOC. And girls of all kinds. I really don't. I can't believe that for an awful lot of the agendas, this one in particular is still out there. And these people have not been shut up and shamed into the ground. The AOCs, the Katie Courics, and a whole lot more. Who acts like a bully? These people. Where's the hate coming from and the violence coming from? The left and the transgender community, the sick part of it. That's where it's coming from. And so they gaslight you, claiming that it's coming from Nancy Mace, who just simply wanted to make sure that there would not be a penis in her bathroom. Thank you, Nancy Mace.
I just wanted to take a minute and say how profoundly grateful I am to Nancy Mace for standing up for women and girls in America. The amount of death threats and rape threats and disgusting comments directed towards women like Nancy, women like us, women like me, who dare to tell these men no. I joke about it all the time. I post them, I read them with, I try and maintain that attitude of go fuck yourselves, but I would be lying if I said that I didn't live with an added level of fear in my life since I started speaking out. And I think that fear is what keeps so many other women from speaking out as well. Women deserve so much better than to be told that we don't exist, that men like Timothy McBride are just as biologically female as we are. And they can get to fuck, don't get me wrong. But it is so refreshing to see a woman in power just unequivocally say no. And I very much hope that her bravery is catching and that more American women start speaking up and saying no. Thank you, Nancy, from the bottom of my heart. We've got your back, and keep holding that line.
And for people who are speaking out, yeah, they do need a lot of support behind them. And to whoever did this, thank you for the opportunity to once again prove our point.
So what is this?
This says you can't erase us, Nancy. Well, then you shouldn't try to erase women. I have to say, for any man that wants to be in a woman's restroom, bathroom, dressing room, locker room, absolutely not.
So that was, yeah. All right. So the social engineers have really conditioned the American people to just sit back and do nothing, to feel powerless, like they have no power whatsoever, and to accept all of the idiocy that is taking place. That's when it's the individual's responsibility to reverse that. Here's a full interview with Nancy Mace if you want to. The link is in the chat if you want to check it out. But here's another. Well, these women make perfect sense, but they are erasing women when you allow men into women's bathrooms, when you allow boys and men to compete on girls and women's sports teams. That's when you begin to erase women. How many boys and men have been winning all of these tournaments, all of these competitions? Yes, you erase women. They've worked their entire lives training, even the girls in high school, and then some guy decides, oh, I'm a girl, let me be on the team. And then the award that should have gone to a girl goes to a guy. That is erasing women.
We're still doing this? Men do not belong in women's spaces. There's this collective tantrum happening right now over Nancy Mace introducing a resolution to ban trans women, aka men, from using the women's restroom in the US Capitol. What is the problem? Why do women have to feel uncomfortable in order to make mentally ill men more comfortable? It doesn't matter how somebody identifies. Biology matters, and men cannot be women. Pretending otherwise doesn't make it true. Women deserve the right to have their own spaces without being forced to share intimate moments or facilities with biological men. It is not bullying and bigotry to keep men out of women's bathrooms. It's actually bullying and bigotry to force women to let men in. You're living in an inverted world if you don't see the issue with that. It blows my mind how we're still having to defend reality. I'm tired of the limits being pushed and our boundaries being disrespected, all to appease Michael in a dress. This is not make-believe land. This is real life, and your rights don't supersede the rights of other women. If you're demanding kindness and respect, maybe respect women's spaces by staying out of them.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Okay. Go ahead and live your life however you want to live your life, but you don't have the right to change everybody else's life just so you can live however you want to live. And a whole lot of people don't give a shit. You want to wear a dress? Go ahead. You want to claim you're a woman? Go ahead. But don't force yourself upon everybody else's life. That's when people get pissed. And it's not disrespectful to stand up for your own rights and your own space. So, I can't believe that this is still going on, just what she said in the very beginning. That's because there's not enough pushback and people are scared. So that 16-year-old who is speaking at some, school board meeting, she's the one who has the guts. She goes to the director to speak. She comes to the school board meeting and speaks. But the other girls are too scared. Well, people need to get in touch with their own power. Yeah. They need to care. Parents and adults who don't even have children in the schools anymore, adults that don't even have children. Because all of this affects our greater society, and adults are supposed to be protecting children. So, on that note, if you think back 15 years ago, not even going to push it that far, 15 years ago, could you have imagined seeing this? I think this guy's in jail, and whatever his title was, but it was a Biden appointee having to monitor or do something with nuclear waste. Okay, but yeah, he seemed to have a problem with stealing people's luggage from airports. This thing, okay? Sorry. Deputy Secretary for Health or something. All right. But could you have imagined thinking that if you saw this 15, I'll extend it 20 years ago, could you have imagined that these people would be taking over our society? Would you think that they're healthy of mind? Okay. I'm truly amazed at where we are today. And not more people are screaming out about what is taking place. So, on that note, please help those in your community, your food banks, your animal shelters, the elderly. Check up on them in your neighborhoods. Try to organize something with some community members that you might be able to talk to, sit down, think about, what you can do to help those, because every community has people that are really in need. Donate to those who are really hurting from this weather warfare that we are living. And yeah, every day try your best to bring your best self. It's hard, but it's what we need to do. Yeah. On that note, thank you for showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow night, and stay safe. Good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.